I want to win a Stanley Cup. There is nothing harder to do. So many things have to fall in place for you.
The owner of the Minnesota Wild, Craig Leipold, joins us to share his journey as an entrepreneur.
In my 20s, I worked for a large corporation, Kimberly-Clark Corporation, but there was just something driving me to do my own thing. I left and started a telemarketing company. The third year of owning this company, I get a call from American Express. A couple months later, they ended up buying the company. I took 6 months and traveled everywhere. Came back, and honestly, I just went out and searched for a company to acquire. I support entrepreneurs all the time, and I think that's why the United States is the best country in the world. We have people who want to be part of something bigger, are passionate about their concept, their product, their service, and they make it successful.
As a businessman, what has professional sports taught you?
Your fans are as passionate of your business as you are. It's a private business, but it's the most public business you can be in. I've become really good friends with a number of the CEOs in the Twin Cities. Many of them are public companies. For them, they have quarterly reports. For me, I've got the morning newspaper.
What are the philosophies that you live by every day when it comes to building a winning culture?
You have to have a...
Craig Leipold. It's great to see you.
It's good to see you again, Charles.
I think about you, and you've had this incredible journey. You've gone on so many amazing career adventures, you know, and I want to learn from you. You know, obviously as the owner of the Minnesota Wild, you've been a businessman for your whole life. And I want to understand your story. What brought you from where you are, and how are we sitting in this locker room today?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's not a straight line.
Yeah.
There were so many stop signs, yield signs, turn left, turn right, you know, all the way through. And if I were to go back and to the, you know, in my 20s and worked for a large corporation, Kimberly-Clark Corporation, had a great career going on and enjoyed it immensely. But there was just something that was driving me to do my own thing, and which was a little unusual because my father was a career guy for one company, and
Back in the good old days, where you worked there the whole time.
that's right.
Yeah.
You worked there the whole time. They move you all around,
Yeah.
and but you're with one company the entire time. But for some reason, that just wasn't in my DNA.
Yeah.
So I left Kimberly-Clark and started a telemarketing company when I was 29.
Okay.
And it was an unusual type of business. It was a business to business selling.
What is it that made you go telemarketing?
Well, at the time, within Kimberly-Clark, I was running their consumer products telemarketing department.
So you had a background.
So, well, I didn't have a background in telemarketing at all. I had a background in sales and marketing. So Kimberly-Clark wanted to reach certain customers that were in real remote locations, the Dakotas, West Texas, all over the United States where they couldn't afford to send a salesperson. So they would sell paper products to retail stores or small distributors or small wholesalers. And if they did have a salesman in that market, they would pull them away and put them in a bigger city. So this was a new concept that Kimberly-Clark was trying. What it was an extension of our sales department. And, it was going extraordinarily well.
That was when people picked up the phone.
That's when you pick up the phone because there were no telemarketers.
Yeah.
So that was.
So it's kind of a revolutionary deal.
It was new. It was
Yeah.
very new. And, other salesmen for other consumer products companies would walk into stores and they would see this big, paper products or toilet paper display of Kimberly-Clark products. And they're asking, well, what salesman came to this store and sold that? And he said, oh, that's my telemarketing person.
Okay.
And so I was there with Kimberly-Clark for probably a total of 2 years in that area. And we were getting calls from sales managers from other big consumer packaged goods companies, Procter & Gamble, Ralston Purina, Kellogg's here, just companies all over the United States. How did you do it? Why did you do it? And Kimberly Clark was, they said, hey, don't talk to these people. And the reason is that we like to have the only people calling these stores. To your point earlier, there was nobody calling the stores. Pretty soon there would be a whole bunch, and I understood that, and so I kind of shut down, and we weren't, discussing our operation with other companies, but there was a huge need to do this. So as a result of all the contacts that I made, I did the entrepreneurial thing, and I left Kimberly Clark and I started my own telemarketing company. And
did it just start with you?
Just me.
It was just you.
It was just me.
Yeah.
It was just me. And about a month and a half, 2 months later, I got a partner that came in, and he was a financial guy. He was kind of administrative, and I was the sales and marketing person. And it was an unbelievable success, and everything was just really working well. And the third year of owning this company, I get a call from American Express, and a couple months later, they ended up buying the company.
Really?
So
how big had you built it by the time they called you?
Yeah. So when obviously when I first started, it was just me, and then within 2 months there was me and a partner. And at this point in time, we probably had 125 salespeople.
Well, so you went really fast.
Really fast.
You scaled.
Really fast. My partner and I would go to the University of Wisconsin in Oshkosh. So this company we started was in Neenah. We went to Oshkosh, and we would interview 25 people, and we'd hire 10 that
No
day.
way.
And a month later, when we pick up another account, we would go back there and we'd hire 25 and pick up another 10.
Yeah. So you would cash flow it as you were building it.
Right.
You weren't like taking investor money or capital. You were.
No, we didn't. Honestly, we didn't need capital.
Yeah.
I mean, it
You'd
was.
get an account.
We get an account, and we'd hire some people, so it was not capital intensive. You didn't have to buy machines. You didn't have to. The technology back then was very low.
So did you build like a call center?
Yeah, it was like a call center. I mean, it was, and so we had a bank of people and phones, but it was, we purposely didn't want it to feel like a sweatshop.
Yeah.
So, everybody came to work in ties, and, to bring up their level of how they felt about themselves and about the job.
Do you think that made a difference?
I absolutely do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you think the same is true now?
Boy, it's a different world now, isn't it? I mean, look at me. I'm not even wearing a.
I mean, you're still wearing a collared shirt.
Yeah, I've still got a collared shirt on. It's a different world now. But back then, ties were what you would wear to the office.
Sure.
Right, ties and suits, sport coats, and so we kept that professionalism.
Yeah.
Because that's how they were trained. So Procter & Gamble would come in and train our people on all their products.
Yeah.
And those people would just be selling their products. So it would just be their products.
So you were like a service for hire for the big guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And say, hey, we'll pay your team to do this for us.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. And the beauty of it is that it didn't cost a lot of money up front to gear up for one of these consumer products companies.
So it's more like you had to just go out and find people to join the team.
We had to find people.
Yeah.
And we had to find people, and we had to train them ourselves. And it was a very young organization. And, we spent a lot of time with kind of quality of life issues for our employees. And it was the most fun thing. I think I won't say that I've ever done. That's no longer true. But
at the time,
it was a lot of fun. Every day you would have, you'd wake up in the morning, you go into work, and everybody's high energy, and it was just a great place to work. And
so it was a
great
culture
start.
you developed of, we're going to look good, we're going to have good attitudes.
Yep.
We're going to train on the product, and we're going to do the work.
Yeah, exactly. And and it worked. All right.
Yeah.
So ultimately, it worked really well. Sold the company.
And you sold it after how long?
3 years.
Wow.
3 years.
So you were in it for 3 years,
Yeah.
and American Express said, "We want that."
We want that. So they called us up as if they were going to be a client.
Yeah.
And so, so they came in and we were talking about doing something, and I'm kind of going, yeah, I don't know exactly how this is going to work, but
Yeah.
let's see. And then their true meaning, what they really wanted to do was to acquire us.
Mm.
And it was a great relationship. I didn't have to stay on. That was at the same time. I am dating a lady and who became my wife. So I moved down to Racine, Wisconsin.
Okay.
This was up in Neenah. I moved down about 2 hours south
Okay.
to Racine, and and then going to the next adventure.
Yeah. So what did you do? So you sold it. You said, "I don't want to stay in this.
Yeah.
I want to.
Yeah.
I want to move
Well, I
on."
couldn't stay in it. So obviously there was a non-compete, which was fine.
So they wanted you to see you later.
Yeah. Well, yes. After
Yeah.
the negotiation of I'm not staying on.
Yeah.
I'm one of the reasons I'm more than willing to sell is
Yeah.
that I'm
Moving
moving
on.
to a different stage of my life.
They're like, "Just sign here, and you
Yeah,
can
this
go."
line here, exactly. Yeah, which was always that easy.
Yeah. So what
But,
did you do
yeah.
after that?
Well, that's my fun time.
Yeah.
All right. So, I took 6 months, 9 months, don't even know how long it was, and traveled everywhere.
Yeah.
And mostly by myself, and went to Australia, New Zealand, obviously Hawaii, and then on the other side went to France and Italy, and it just had a remarkable time,
Yeah.
self-absorbing,
Yeah.
understanding what is it you want to do,
Yeah.
and then came back, and I was revitalized, and what's
Yeah.
the next thing I have to do, and I honestly I just went out and searched for a company to acquire.
Yeah. So when you left, you went and traveled. Something I'm a big fan of is taking time to have headspace so
Yeah.
that you can self-reflect. Do you feel like that time really was helpful in figuring out what you wanted to do next?
Immensely,
Yeah.
truly immensely.
Yeah.
That it was, I just had a wonderful time, and did a lot of thinking about what do I want to do in life?
Yeah.
What's my next adventure that I want to take? And it was really quality time for me.
What was at the time, what was your favorite place you stopped at?
Well, I'd have to say New Zealand.
Really?
New Zealand was just an unbelievable place, and I spent more time in New Zealand, I think. And then I went to Australia, and I thought, well, I'm going back to New Zealand.
Really?
So
I heard New Zealand's like all of the fun of Australia without all the killer creatures.
I think I mean, yeah, the killer creatures is definitely true. It's a quieter country, and the people are very easy to talk with and understand their culture and
Yeah.
society. So, that was, it's not like I did any, I didn't stay in the big city, so I
Mhm.
got out of there quite fast as soon as I could, and so it was high quality for me.
Yeah. So you took that time, you reflected, you came back and you said, "I want to buy a business."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how did you decide what was next?
Well, you're right. I came back and said, either I'm not going to go work for anybody else again. That doesn't work for me. The most fun I had was making all the decisions and living with them, and so I wanted to do that. So I hired a business broker, and we sat down for a couple days, and he we went through kind of my skill sets, what are my what do I do, best, and then he had a license from me to go out and let's find a
You
business
said,
and a
"Go
company.
ahead,
Go
find
do
me
it,
something."
go do it.
So what did he find?
Well, he ended up finding something that was very different for me, and it was a manufacturing business, and it was a company called Rainfair.
Rain Fair.
Rain Fair. So Rain Fair was a domestic manufacturer of all kinds of rainwear and
Like clothing.
like clothing,
Clothing.
like clothing.
Okay.
So it was the biggest rainwear supplier in the United States. So we would do, because we manufactured in the United States,
Mm-hmm.
we would do the postal business, we'd do policemen, we would do sheriff department. So there was kind of the government side of it,
Yep.
and they required domestic manufacturing. So that was us.
Yeah.
And then we got into consumer, and we did Land's End and Walmart.
So you were
and
private labeling for these big
we were doing
brands.
private labeling, and then we also did our own labeling.
Mm-hmm.
So, we did a lot of, in the consumer product side, we did a lot of manufacturing overseas.
Sure.
So,
Because you didn't have the requirement because it wasn't a government sector.
right. And then it was price.
Yeah.
And so, I loved traveling to China, had great experiences over there. And, it was, again, it was kind of a fun time. It was a 110-year-old business.
Wow. So when you bought it.
When I bought it, it was 110.
Wow.
So it was an old business in a gigantic manufacturing, big 3-story manufacturing
Yeah.
business in Racine.
Did it intimidate you at all at first where you're like, I'm buying this really big thing, I don't know that business, I know business.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you walked in, you're like, okay,
Terribly so.
really?
Terribly intimidated.
Yeah.
Not understanding the business, and because it was manufacturing there. So when I first walked in, it was 90% of what they sold was manufactured there.
Yeah.
When I left 7-8 years later, it was probably 10% there, 90% overseas.
Wow. So it
So
really
shifted a ton.
Did you
Yeah.
see any of those government contracts go, okay, it's all right. If you can save us a lot of money, you can make it overseas? No, they
No.
wanted it here.
They wanted it made here, and we never went to them trying to change that spec
Sure.
on the bid, because
Sure.
if it had to be made in the United States, that's us.
Yeah.
If
So that made you really unique.
exactly, that made us different.
Yeah.
And if it was open to anybody and you could source it overseas, then 10 other competitors would come in, and then it's all about price.
So when you did that, did you build that business up?
Yeah, for sure. Built it up, and it grew rapidly. The consumer side of it.
Yeah.
And some of it was under our brand, so we had a brand product as well, and but most of it was private label.
Yeah.
And it was the fact that we manufactured partly in the United States
Yeah.
was something that our competitors couldn't do.
Sure.
So we could bring things over here that is 90% assembled, and we could add printing onto it. We could do things that that other people couldn't do because they didn't have the local.
So you could
manufacturing.
you had a competitive advantage.
We had a competitive
Yeah.
advantage.
So
Exactly.
how long did you build that business?
Well, I probably sold it, I sold it in about 2000.
2000.
About 2000. So I owned it for about 10 years.
Yeah.
About 10 years.
Do you feel like that was like a big learning experience?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And it was, I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a big manufacturing, a big union.
Yeah.
So it was a skill set I knew nothing about,
Yeah.
and had to learn a lot about manufacturing and efficient manufacturing and quality. And
Did you ever wake up in the morning and think, I feel like a little bit of an imposter initially?
for sure, Charles, there's, I didn't know much about what I was doing.
Yeah.
All right. So particularly in the beginning, it was very new to me.
Yeah.
And there's something challenging about that
Yeah.
I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Something, very different. But at the end of the day, as customers would come in and I'm touring them around our manufacturing plant, and they're all talking about the different processes and things that we have. if they had asked follow-up questions, I wouldn't have had the answer to them. But
You're like, I gotta pull someone.
yeah, I
for
got
that
to have
answer."
somebody with me for that. But yeah, hey, that's all part of growing, right?
Oh, for sure.
And I thought it was a fun experience, enjoyed it, and
What did you learn? Like, what were the big like takeaways reflecting back on that time?
yeah, well, because it was a fairly large union business, I learned how to deal with unions,
Mm,
and I learned how to deal with people in the unions who work for you. So,
sure.
and that was important. I learned a lot about overhead and about burden and how you account for that. I learned much more about financial than I did with my first telemarketing company. Um, and so I mean it was more learning than I had with my previous
Yeah.
business because it was such a
Yeah.
different animal for me.
So when you reflect on the financial lessons you learned, like if someone that's listening to this is in manufacturing, what financial lessons would you say you would like them to know?
Yeah, well, as in anything, get the best financial person you can, and I didn't in the beginning.
Mm,
I didn't know what I didn't know, but as I began reading about things and understanding them, you have to make sure you have someone who understands that side of it. You have to have someone that has a good banking relationship.
mm.
This was an old company with a very old building that eventually my big contribution to the business was building a brand new building.
Oh, wow.
All right, so we're leaving a 300,000 square foot old
Oh my
old
gosh.
building in
Just
Racine.
enormous.
Yeah, it was gigantic. It was the biggest employer in Racine
Wow.
during World War I.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it made tires for automobiles that the Ramblers that were being made in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Yep.
And in World War I, with all of um, uh, the chemical warfare that was going on, they needed rubber
Clothing.
outer clothing,
Yeah.
and we were the supplier in the 1920s and 30s to our government to supply that.
So like protective equipment,
Protect,
not just
exactly.
rain.
No, not just it wasn't for rain. It was
Mm.
really for chemical protection. And one of the really cool things that I would love to do, all of the very original books, financial books from the 1880s when the business started were all there.
Mm.
So I could see how the business was growing and read about the business.
So you could go back in history.
Yeah.
That must have been kind of cool.
It was really cool. I couldn't put the books down.
Yeah.
I couldn't put it. And the person that did the writing was the most beautiful writing in these books. And that's just kind of a side note. I found that to be just
But
fascinating.
it's history.
It is. It was.
I mean, it was
history.
your history
Yeah,
now.
yeah, and it was history of not just this business, but history of Racine, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And all of the investors who were the industrialists from Racine,
Hmm.
whose businesses are still there, were some of the original shareholders of this company.
No
And
kidding.
at that time, it was called Chicago Rubberware,
Yeah.
something like that. Chicago Rubber Manufacturing.
And did you guys have like proprietary products that you had invented or had patents on that were special to the market nobody else could do?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was important, and particularly in all of the government business that we had, we had our own specs that
Yeah.
that they would use our specs to go out and bid for products, and since they were just our specs, we were basically the only
Yeah,
ones.
no one could hit them.
Nobody could hit them but us. So
That's a good lesson.
the real
right?
life. That's right. That's a good lesson.
good
in itself.
lesson.
It is. And
When you
yeah.
think about, you had said find the best financial person, What kind of tips would you have for me if I'm building a company and I want to find the best financial person? How do I do that?
Yeah. Um, uh, Really good question. And so much of it is you need to find somebody that complements you. All right. So I knew what my strengths were.
Yeah.
I also knew what my weaknesses were.
What would you share?
Sure.
What were your strengths and weaknesses?
Selling, um, marketing products and
Okay.
understand the value of how to market products.
Yeah.
Um, of pulling people together, leadership,
Culture.
culture, really important.
Yeah.
A culture is so important. So it's almost easier to say what I'm not good
Yeah.
at. Okay,
Yeah.
what I'm not good at is finance.
Yeah. Me
Back
either.
then,
Yeah.
and I now kind of pride myself that I have, whenever we have our a board meeting,
Yeah.
I look over all of our numbers and the finance group I have, they know I'm going to find something
Yeah.
that is
So
wrong.
you've made yourself a student of the finance.
I've done the best I can, and I love the art of the deal.
Yeah.
I think Trump wrote a book on that.
Yeah. I think it's
So,
called The Art of the
I
Deal.
think it's called
Yeah.
The Art of the Deal.
Yeah.
And I've never read that book, but that's what deals are today.
Yeah.
It is, dealing with the financial side and legalese. And
Yeah.
as I indicated to you earlier, I'm working on a deal right now, and we spend so much time going over legal issues and financial issues.
Mm.
So
Even before the deal's done.
yeah, the
This
deal's
is
not done.
going up
Yeah,
to it.
yeah, right. This is,
Yeah.
we're kind of like, the last step.
Yeah.
This is truly the end of the third period, and there's a minute to go in the game, and this is where everything now kind of happens. So, we're hoping for closing of this week,
Yeah.
and now it I think it may close this week, but the point is that it just keeps going out.
Yeah.
So, finding a financial person, it is hard to do
Yeah.
if you're not a financial person.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will, I believe in the value of a board of directors in every company, and that I own myself, and most of the companies I own just me.
Mm.
And I want a board, and on the board will always be a financial person
Yeah.
who's the CFO of another
The
company,
best one you can
the
find.
best one I can
Yeah.
find. And that person will be involved in the interviewing process
Of the people
of
you're
the
hiring.
people that I'm looking to hire.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting input from the financial side, and ultimately that is hugely valuable.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the person has to fit our culture.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a two-pronged thing. They got to fit our culture, but they got
the chops.
they got the chops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you touched on culture, and I can tell you're passionate about culture. I'm really passionate
Yeah.
about it too. When you think about building a winning culture, whether it's a hockey team, right?
Yep.
The back office,
Yep.
or one of your companies, what are the philosophies that you kind of live by every day when it comes to building those teams?
Well, I am very fortunate in life that I had a father who was a business person, and worked his way up from the bottom of a company, become the senior vice president, and had a lot of people that he managed.
Mm.
And he would always talk to my brother and I about leadership and about how to treat people,
Mm.
really how to treat people. And that was absolutely his secret sauce.
Yeah.
Is that everybody loved my dad.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And you call him by his first name. I mean, hey, Mr. Leopold, how are you? He'd go, whoa, 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 whoa. It's Lefty. His name is Lefty.
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 That's a good
It's a
name.
good name. So he was
It's easy
he
to
was
remember.
he was a pitcher, and his name was Werner. And but it was immediately, you call me Lefty. That's
Yeah.
that's what you do. And I so you pick up on that,
Yeah.
just through osmosis of treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
And I've tried to mirror that philosophy as much as I can. And I mean, I do completely agree with that. And I think it's the most important aspect of being a successful company
Yeah.
is that you get really good people that want to succeed, that are willing to work hard, but they also want to have fun.
Yeah.
All right. So so that's what I look for.
So you obviously you have built many leadership teams, right? Of executives
the number,
that surround you.
Yep.
When you're looking at hiring a new leader who's really in the inner circle of a business, what are the qualities you're really trying to flesh out if they're the real deal on or not?
Yeah. I first of all, I believe in everybody being part of the interviewing process. So it's not just me, but
Yeah.
so it's like, my leadership team. And also, have outside people
Yeah.
interview them. But ultimately, I love to spend hours with somebody
Yeah.
and just I mean, in an interview across a desk,
Yeah.
you can always look good for an hour.
That's easy.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, then you got to.
Anybody sitting in front of you is probably good at it by
That's
that.
that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So listen, I've made mistakes in hiring people, and that's the thing is that you change right away, and
So tell me about that. You see something's not right.
yeah,
You're like, I know it's not right.
yeah.
You don't hesitate.
Don't hesitate. All right. Do you want an example of that?
I would love one.
All right. Well, one was we hired a general manager here
At the Wild.
at the Wild.
Yep.
And he was, I knew him because he was the assistant general manager in Nashville. But he didn't live in Nashville. He lived in Boston.
Okay.
So we did a lot of scouting for Nashville. And I interviewed a lot of people for this job. And ultimately, I hired this individual. I'm not going to say his name.
Sure.
And he worked for us for a year. And throughout that year, I'm hearing things, and I'm just hearing things. And
When you say hearing things that you're like, I don't know.
yeah, it's not
quite
right. It's not right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I mean, that's like really not right. You don't say that to an employee.
Yeah.
You don't do something that he might have done. And, and I'm not talking about he didn't have any issues when it came to scouting, developing players. I mean,
The
as a
performance.
GM,
Yeah.
he was great.
Yeah.
As a leader,
Yeah.
he was subpar. I
Yeah.
mean, way subpar. And so within days of kind of fleshing out some of the an issue that happened, I terminated him
Yeah.
and paid his salary for the next 2 years, and
Well, that was
just
generous
said
of
it's
you.
not, it was a contract.
Yeah.
So it was, and I went through
But
the
you knew it.
process again. I knew it.
You knew it.
It was not going to get better.
And you could feel this coming from different angles.
Yeah.
You were like triangulating that
Yeah.
clearly this is just a mismatch.
Yeah. I pride myself as much as I can of never knee jerking,
Yeah.
particularly when it comes to people, but also on big decisions. Like,
Yeah.
just like me, we got to get rid of that person.
Yeah.
Or, you
Pump
always
the
try to
brake.
salvage. Yeah, just
Yeah.
slow down a little bit and let's figure everything out. This was not a repairable issue. And so I got up and, had all the press in
Yeah.
and said, oh, okay, this is on me.
Yeah.
This is on nobody else. It's on me. We are changing the direction that we're going.
Yeah.
We're going to go back out and have the interviewing process.
Yeah.
and it's worked out great. Frankly, it's worked out really well for this guy as well.
Yeah.
And he's with another team as the assistant general manager, exactly where he should be.
Yeah.
So,
Do you think making those hard people moves that like you don't want to, but you know you have to, do you think it's also good for that person?
in almost all cases, it is. This person is not. I mean, they're not having fun either.
Yeah.
Right, and they're not making life easy for the people who are reporting to him.
Yeah.
But he's not having fun, or
Yeah.
she. And I think the decision at the time, I'm sure, traumatic for him.
Yeah.
But my guess is right now he would look back and say, I'm in a much better place.
Yeah.
Things have worked out really well for me, and my guess is he's loving the job that he's got. And so I believe at the end of the day, it's a win-win-win.
Yeah, it seems like you take the short-term pain, put it aside, and you say, what's best for the organization and probably that person.
Right.
And you say,
Right.
we got to do this.
We got to do it.
Yeah.
We got to do it. And here's, there's, once you make a decision and it's your final,
Yeah.
you do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Do it.
Don't, let's see how it is for the next month. Just do it.
Yeah.
And make it so that, everybody is feeling good about it when it happens.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that I would say is, once you make the decision, follow through.
Take action.
Yeah.
So obviously it's a little different owning a hockey team because of all the public scrutiny, the press. I mean, does that ever keep you up at night where you're like, oh my gosh, I know what's right, but I know the backlash that's coming from some of the public when I take this action? How do you deal with that?
Charles, that's exactly right. This is it's a private business, but it's the most public business you can be in.
Yeah.
I've become really good friends with a number of the CEOs here in the Twin Cities, and many of them are public companies. And we'll over dinner or something, we'll talk about the businesses and leadership and things. And for them, they have quarterly reports that they have to talk to the public about and are accountable to.
Yeah.
For me, I've got the morning newspaper.
Yeah.
And we go with the tide. If we win, we're heroes. Everything's great. If we lose, not so much.
Yeah.
But now I've been in this business long enough to know that you should never. You're never as good as people say you are.
Yeah.
And you're never as bad as people say you are. So you're always right there. You're not here or here. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I used to have a little thinner skin. I don't anymore.
I can't imagine, like, we've had people issues, right? Everybody does.
Sure. Yeah.
And I can't imagine adding the layer of public scrutiny on top of just the internal, waves you create. Do you obviously you've developed thicker skin, like you said, but do you ever have like something you say to yourself or you repeat where you're like, it doesn't matter what the public thinks, this is what's best for these people on my team?
Yeah. Yes and no. All right. Because, the public is also customers.
Yeah.
All right. So, when it comes to an individual or making a decision on a person, I'm not thinking about what's the public reaction going to be. Obviously, winning and losing is, really important.
Yeah.
And we need the public for, in order for us to sell tickets and everything. It's important. When I do interviews with sports writers and things, the issue that I have, my biggest issue with those is that I'm way too transparent. Somebody asks me a question, I want to give them an answer.
Yeah.
And so that night I'm like, okay, what did I say? What did I say? What did I say? Did something come out? And and I've been burned a few times.
Yeah.
Not by them, by my own actions
Yeah.
and words. But that's kind of who I am. And what I do.
I think it's pretty remarkable, just reflecting on what you said earlier about how when you made that decision to let this individual leave the organization or
Mhm.
terminate them, that you went up there and you said, "This is on me."
Yeah.
Tell me more about your
Yeah.
thought process on that. Why
Yeah.
did you do that?
Yeah.
Because I think that's very good and unique.
Yeah. Um, it never even crossed my mind that I wouldn't express those sentiments, whether I did it in those words or in other ways. Um, the fact is, it was on me. All right. And uh, Charles, I got notes back from a number of people. Many I didn't even kind of think about when I actually said this is on me, and those were my words, from people in towns going, hey, kudos to you for owning up. And everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
It's that you point to somebody else that was their mistake.
Yeah.
Hey, this was on me. And so that it was an easy thing to say because it was, but I was honestly surprised at the reaction that I got from people.
So a lot of positive outreach saying, "Wow,
Yeah,
what a great
yeah,
thing to say."
what exactly, and
not just say, but believe.
yeah, but believe
I mean,
exactly
believe.
right. I mean, I'm this was hey, listen, I made the decision, right, and I've got to be accountable to that decision. And so we changed up the way that we interviewed
Yeah.
for the next GM position.
So what did you do different?
Well, we brought in a player. We brought in Mike Madonna to be part of the process.
Interesting.
Okay, and because that was one of the questions. So what are you going to do differently? Which was a great question, and I wasn't really prepared for that, because first of all, you let somebody go, then you go through the process. But I knew what I was going to do, and bringing Mike in, I hadn't even talked to him yet about it. But bringing Mike into that process was really helpful for his input, but also it provided something unique and something different, something we didn't have with the first process, and gave us a point of view that was very valuable to the ultimate decision of
so that was integral.
Hiring Billy Garrett.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's such a neat story to understand, that bringing a player in to help you.
A former player.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But a guy who comes from the mindset.
Right. That's what
of
I mean.
A player. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really incredible. So when you think about the other leaders on your team, what gives a leader longevity in your mind? Like, this person is going to be here as long as they want to be because of these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are those qualities?
Well, I pay a lot of attention about how. So I'm in a meeting with a vice president, and he and his staff are presenting next year's season ticket pricing, next year's marketing campaign, whatever it is. And I want to see the relationship between that VP and his report twos, who are in this meeting presenting what the ticket prices should be next year based on all of the criteria that we've had for ages. And I love to watch the dynamics between that person and how much freedom does that VP give to his staff and let them do the presenting.
Yeah.
And how much does the VP respect his people, and the deference that he gives them, I think I'm watching that all the time.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of leadership is to give your employees the exposure that they need to have as well to people like me or Matt Maka, our CEO. And we have really, really good people that are in our organization.
Yeah. So you look at your leaders and you go, how much are these leaders giving their team the opportunity to be great?
Yes, right. Exactly. And if if the leader is there and he or she wants to, does most of the talking then I just register these things, right? Okay, so and the CEO that we have, Matt Maka, Matt is extraordinary when it comes to working with our leadership team and mentoring them. So good.
So you're watching them mentor.
Yeah.
And you're going,
Yeah.
that's
That's
going to
what
grow our
that's-
company.
That's right. That's how we get better.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just, it's how well are they managing their people and how much confidence do they have in those people, and also how much confidence do they have in themselves that he's giving the opportunity for his staff
Yeah.
to make the presentation and do it. And I think that's high value, and that's what a true leader will do.
So when you see somebody that's below one of your VPs, right, and they get the opportunity to present and do great work, how do they have the opportunity to rise up into a leadership position? What do you look for?
Yeah. Again, and relationships are all really, really important. We at the Wild have have the luxury of almost zero turnover. We also have not the luxury of zero turnover.
Yeah.
So we have many times, those guys underneath, they're looking up, how do I get to one of those jobs?
Right.
And, sometimes they have to leave the organization. We hate to see them go.
You're saying so that they can get that position in a team somewhere else.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. So
Yeah.
they can move, to the position that they want to, that we don't have available,
Yeah.
that they may have to go to another team in another market, or maybe another team in our market, and
Yeah.
go to
Yeah.
a different sport.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately that happens and has happened.
Yeah.
But Charles, like yesterday, we announced we're doing a women's volleyball league. That's going to create, we're going to hire 18 people.
Yeah.
Right.
Opportunities.
And we're posting, we're going to have a president of the team. We're going to have a director of marketing, a director of sales, a director of social media. So, those are opportunities.
Yeah.
And it's important that businesses create opportunities within your business that your best people can go to.
Yeah.
And, without having to leave your organization.
Right.
To get to that job.
Yeah. It's like, if you want opportunity, we're going to make more opportunity for you to have.
Right.
Because you want to keep your great
You want to
people.
keep them.
Yeah.
You want to keep them. You want to do your best.
That's so powerful. That's something that I've been learning over the years as
Yeah.
well. Something I've been dying to ask you is, as a businessman, what has professional sports taught you?
Oh, wow. It can be humbling. All right.
Yep.
It can be a humbling experience. Also, the business of sports is not unlike the business of Target or Ecolab or Best Buy or Securian. It's a business.
Yeah.
And you run it as a business. And there are some uniqueness to being a sports business, but it's still the same business issues you deal with all the time. And I guess specifically to answer your question, the public aspect of who we are and what we do is different than any other business. Our fans think they own our business, and I'm
Yeah.
fine with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I
You kinda want that,
I want
right?
that. I
Yeah.
want them to feel like this is your team.
Yes.
So,
And boy, do they ever.
yeah, they do. This market is,
I mean,
they're known for that, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That is like the best thing.
yeah.
So I'm really happy with that aspect of it. But the business of sports is different from that aspect. And your fans are as passionate of your business as you are.
Yeah.
And
Does that
yeah.
feel good?
Good and bad.
Yeah.
Good and bad. I mean,
Yeah.
good in that, yeah, I love it. I mean, but bad from the sense that, I mean, they can get kind of nasty.
Yeah.
If they get you, if they know your email, it's not hard to get a person's email. Holy smokes.
You need a
know,
whole department just to
whoa,
filter 'em.
just to filter them.
Just show me the
but-
good ones today,
yeah,
guys.
Yeah, but I'll tell you the secret of handling any of those people is to, if they text or email you, I like it better when they text because that means I've got their phone number.
Yeah.
Is that I will call them every time. Oh, I better be careful now.
Yeah, we won't give your number
Yeah,
out.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's good. And it is, first of all, they don't believe that it's you.
Yeah.
Right? They don't believe it. You're not. You're not. No,
This isn't
I honestly
Craig.
am. And I got your letter, and I got a couple minutes. I just want to call you and say a part of what you're saying is accurate, part is not.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it.
I mean, you call and have
Oh,
conversations
absolutely.
with your fans.
I have never hung up a phone. Never have I hung the phone up without being in a much better place afterwards than I was before.
I mean, talk about creating loyalty. Even if they hated your guts, you called them on the phone.
That's right. They are like, oh my God, I mean, it is so funny. I am so sorry I said those things.
Wow.
I'm embarrassed by it. It was at the game, was the emotion. I go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Listen, I go home and I kick the dog. Now, first of all, that's not true.
Yeah.
But
You figuratively.
yeah,
kicked the dog.
figuratively
Yeah.
kick the dog.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I hated our power play tonight as well.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden you've diffused the whole issue and you own this guy for life.
Yeah. I mean, think of the people
Yeah.
he's going to tell.
Yeah, right.
Gosh. So,
What we do.
I'm relating all this back to just customer service.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like in any business, even though you are who you are,
Yeah.
you get on the phone and you talk to your customers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Have you always been that way?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you've always just been like, hey, if there's an issue, I'm just going to call.
Call them up.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
I mean, how many CEOs do you know that would never talk to their customer directly?
I don't know the answer to that. There probably are some,
There's
but
plenty.
maybe we'd all be surprised. There are more than we think.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not like I get 5 of these a day.
No.
I get a couple a week.
Yeah.
And it is so much fun.
Yeah.
That to call them up and say, is this John? Yeah, who's this? John, hi, this is Craig Leipold. And he,
Come on.
No, John, really. I've got your email or your text. I got it here, and I just wanted to, have a conversation with you about it.
I mean, I am amazed, actually. I think that is the coolest thing. Like that is one of those things that I think we all could take note of.
Yeah,
Right?
No matter what it is.
No matter where you are in
Right.
business.
Right.
Like talk to
Yeah.
them.
And honestly, it is 100% of the time that they leave and they are so happy that they got to express whatever it is.
Yeah.
And when it's all done, it's, hey, John, have a great week.
Yeah.
Hey, Craig, you too. Hey, let's win tomorrow
Yeah,
night.
that's right.
Okay, I'm with you.
So not only did you make a lifelong fan,
Yeah.
but you sold more tickets
Yeah,
for sure.
right, for sure.
I mean, for sure.
And
Not
you're
just
right.
through them, but
he's going to tell he's going to tell
Everybody.
other people. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
I'm just blown away by that one.
All right.
So as we kind of bring it in for a landing, I want to go back to the you bought a business thing quick, because back when you had left and you bought your manufacturing business.
Okay.
For people who are thinking about, is it a good time to buy a business? First of all, we all know it's never like a perfect time, right?
Yeah.
But do you think that buying a business as somebody who is a skilled entrepreneur is a good idea?
Yeah, I think the answer to that is, first of all, I don't know who a skilled entrepreneur would be.
Sure.
Right. So that's the first thing I'm trying to, because I don't think I was ever a skilled entrepreneur, but I was passionate. And I am all for anybody who wants to go out on their own and create something
Yes.
and be part of something bigger than they are right now.
Yeah.
Um, and I have met with a lot of young people
Yeah.
who I was young at one time as I'm leaving Kimberly-Clark to start my business. A lot of people were, no, hey, stay where you are. You have a family. Hey, at that point in time, it was it was 1982. The interest rates were 21%.
Oh my gosh.
Um, and it's and and I had 2 kids, and things were like, going really well, and everybody said, "What are you doing?"
Really?
And, that business very quickly became a multi-million-dollar business.
Yeah.
And, it was because of a good idea. We executed it correctly. We made mistakes, fine, but nothing was, critical.
Yeah.
And I support entrepreneurs all the time,
Yeah.
and I think that's why the United States is the best country in the
I
world.
agree.
Is that we have people who want to be part of something bigger, are willing to work hard,
Yeah.
are passionate about their concept, their product, their service, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and they make it successful.
So you're saying go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
And there's going to be
yeah,
fear and imposter
yeah,
syndrome and
yeah, right.
things where you had fears.
Oh,
I'm sure you
totally,
still have fears.
totally. There were many times that I was thinking in my first business, like, okay, before we were cash flowing out, how, why did I do this again? Well,
So you did have times
oh
where
yeah,
you questioned.
yeah. It took a long time. So I had all these CEO or not CEOs, all these VP of sales for companies are saying, hey, we want, if you leave Kimberly-Clark and do your own thing, we're going to go with you. Okay. But it took them 9 months to internally get the approvals and all this stuff. And here naivete.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that, a month from now, I'm going to have 8 companies, and
Yeah.
it's not what happened.
Yeah.
But,
So being patient.
Oh, and I have no patience. Okay. I mean, I literally have no patience. So being patient was a hard thing. And you had to back up a little bit and continue to, be polite
Yeah.
and, eventually they all came,
Yeah.
but it took a long time.
Do you think your persistence has served you well?
Yeah, I think so, for sure. In anything that you do, you can't let the first bad issue kind of, say, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. That is baloney.
Yeah.
All right. You're gonna make mistakes, and issues outside your control are going to affect your business negatively.
Yeah.
But you just have to stay with it and go with it. If you believe in what you're doing, you got
Yeah.
to stay with it.
I think what you said about being naive is so cool because I think sometimes you have to be naive enough to take the risk,
Yeah,
right?
for sure. At 21% interest rates,
I mean,
it's like I was so stupid I didn't know. I
Yeah.
mean, first
Just-
of all, I figure, well, we're not going to be borrowing that much money because we'll be cash flowing quickly. No, it didn't work that way. But it was during Carter's administration.
yeah.
21% we were borrowing money in. Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
and
And we complain about 8%.
I know it. Yeah, it's 6%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a different time.
Do you have any dreams for your future aside from winning lots and lots of hockey
Well,
games, obviously?
listen. I'm in this. I want to win a Stanley Cup. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's it. I
Yeah.
want to win a Stanley Cup, and I can tell you, there's nothing harder to do
Yeah.
than to win a Stanley Cup. So many things have to fall in place for you. So just from kind of a personal goal, but I have a son working in the business,
Yeah.
and I have 5 boys, and this is my youngest son, and he's learning all about the business. This is going to be a family enterprise, and our other boys are either working for other businesses that my wife and I own, or they're doing things that kind of touch the businesses that we own.
Yeah. So it's a family legacy.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been so fortunate with, getting into the Nashville Predators, getting into hockey, selling the Predators, buying this golden franchise up
Yeah.
here, and being part of the community in St. Paul.
Yeah.
Really proud of, and I'm proud of what our business means to downtown and
Yeah.
the success of St. Paul.
I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, it is.
I forgot to ask you earlier, why did you choose hockey?
Because I was looking to buy an NBA team.
Okay.
Okay, so I just I got really close to a couple teams, and they kind of didn't work out. But I love business, and
Yeah.
I love sports.
Yes.
And I love competition, and I love to win. Okay, but so NBA was just going to be too hard. I wasn't getting traction on teams. And so, there was an arena being built in Nashville, and I was on the board of a company. We had our board meeting in Nashville, a big hole in the ground.
Yeah.
And that was at the time that I was looking to buy an NBA team.
Wow.
And so I met the mayor. I went back down the week after to meet the mayor and find out what are his plans for a sports team. And he says, we want an NHL team or an NBA team, and we're going to put it in that arena. And, if you want to be our guy, I mean, do you want to be the guy that we give you the hunting license? And he did.
Oh my.
And the mayor of Nashville became the governor.
Yeah.
Not too long later. We ended up with an NHL team.
Yeah.
And so he and I met with Gary Bettman, and Gary loved Nashville. He wanted that to be an expansion market. And then they decided that they were going to expand the league by 2 cities. They ended up 4 because they had so many applicants.
Mm-hmm.
And St. Paul was one of them, and Nashville was another one that came into the league at the same time. Nashville was the first city to come in because they had their arena done first, because it was started,
Yeah.
before this one was, or Columbus or Atlanta. So
So it kind of was serendipity.
yeah, it
Yeah.
just happened.
What did it feel like when they were like, we want to give you the hunting license?
Wow, I'm thinking, hey, you guys know what you're doing? I mean, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sounds
to
like
be
fun.
the exclusive.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I wouldn't be competing with it. And it was because they want it so badly. The city of Nashville was smaller at that time.
Yeah.
So they had to make this, the lease with the team that would come in
Yeah.
was a favorable lease,
Yeah.
because the revenue they would get from TV,
Oh.
local TV, would be much lower.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the reason that the lease was favorable. And we got close to an NBA team to move there, as Sacramento, actually. And that fell through, but at the same time, we're working with an expansion, for an expansion
Yeah.
team. And when we were awarded one of the 4 cities, we were just ecstatic, and it was a lot of fun.
And now you're all in on the Wild.
Now I'm all in on the Wild.
I mean, how amazing.
Yeah, you know what? And so I owned the Predators for about 10 years, and I'll never forget. I mean, I watched, I went to every game, in Nashville, and it was hard to watch away games back then. There wasn't any FanDuel or Bally's or at Fox Sports North. As soon as I bought the Wild, the team I wanted to lose more than anything else was the Predators. I mean, it's like, oh my God, and my kids, it took them years to transition from Predators to the Wild. Now they're all in on the Wild, but boy, it's like an old girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay. When you break up with your girlfriend, you don't want them dating Bezos or anybody else, You
Yeah.
don't want her to be happy. You want them to lose.
You're like, we're going to kick their butts.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
Right. So, yes.
Wow. That is amazing. Okay. I always like to ask this question
Okay.
at the end.
All right.
when it's all over and the lights go out,
Hmm.
what do you want to be remembered for?
Being a good father.
You didn't even hesitate.
Yeah.
You didn't
Easy
even
one.
think about it.
Easy one. Easy answer.
Being a good father.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Well, as I said earlier, I had a great father, so I had a good mentor. Um, I want my kids to remember me as a person who did the right thing,
Mm,
who tried to pass on my values to them, but have the freedom to do what they want to, what they need to do and want to do. And, being a parent it's a lifetime experience.
yeah.
And, um, you know, and I've got 5 great kids and we're all so very close, but, whenever I have time to spend quality time with them, it's important that the legacy that you leave is something that they're proud of.
Mm,
And, it's an easy question for me to answer
yeah.
because there's like nothing in second place.
Gosh, that's so powerful. You are already doing that. And I
Trying
know
to.
you'll be remembered that way.
Yeah, trying to.
Hey, if you like this episode, make sure you subscribe, share it with somebody you like, and of course, make sure you check out my company, Eide. We produce conferences and events all over the US, and if you know of a conference or an event that's looking for the best company in the business, check out eidecom.com.